Adams and Crump, joint series leaders on 70 points. Joe Screen on 56 from England. Todd Wiltshire from New South Wales on 54. Then Craig Boyce, the Danish star Yahya Gerson on 43. And Rooney Holter whipping in the top 7. I caught up with England's Mark Laram just a short time ago. This is a racetrack that I guess you guys could call a little bit more like home.
Yeah, certainly. From what I've seen so far, this is more like a track we've come across in our racing every day at home.
And you certainly had a very tough first week, 4 events in 6 days, about 5,000 kilometres apart. You didn't even land all the day before the first event in the country, so it would have been tough.
Yeah, the first night in Newcastle, I was a bit of a write-off. I didn't really know where I was, and that was pretty tough. Since then, I've had a couple of better meetings, so I'm getting better all the time. It's all pretty different over here.
Are you surprised how good the Australians are on their home turf?
Well, I know how good they are in our turf, so anyone on their home turf is going to be that much better. But they really have been hard to beat at the moment, and us foreigners are struggling a bit, so we're going to have to try and do something about it.
England's Mark Laram chatting before the meeting, the former British champion and former Danish Grand Prix champion. Heat number 1, a 4-lap journey. Lee Adams rides in red, Craig Boyce in blue, Antonin Casper in white out of gate number 3, and Norway's Rooney Holter starts in the yellow-black helmet colour from the extreme outside. This is the first of 20 qualifying heats. Then at the completion of the 20 qualifying heats, the top 4 riders qualify for the grand final or for the A final. The points in the qualifying heats carry 3, 2, 1, 0 respectively for first, second, third and fourth. And it's Antonin Casper, the reigning Continental Speedway champion, that got the best start. In fact, he has really blown them away here. In the opening heat on this 300-metre Gosford City Speedway venue, he leads Lee Adams. In third spot is the Norwegian rider, Rooney Holter. And Sydney's Craig Boyce, whom I would have expected to be one of the big guns at his home track here tonight, is tailed off in 4th position at the moment. No doubting the style of the seasoned veteran, Antonin Casper out in front, has been desperately unlucky in this series so far. Suffered from heat exhaustion, food poisoning. He's had just about everything go wrong, and he's going to emerge a very comfortable victor in heat number 1, and in so doing take 3 valuable qualifying points to him. Lee Adams was second, Rooney Holter third in a racing time of 59.01, and Craig Boyce remarkably at the back of the pack. Casper, one of the finest starters in the world, as we take another look at how the Czech champion did it. He hails from Prague, and it really was won on the starting line. Lee Adams did show a little challenge early in proceedings, but unfortunately couldn't go on with the job. Now heat number 2, Ronnie Corey, yellow-black, the American, on the left-hand side of your screen. Ty Platt from Sydney wears the white helmet colour out of gate 3. Jason Crump, the Queenslander, in blue out of gate number 2. And England's Joe Screen, former World Under-21 champion, in red, got a great start on the inside. Jason Crump serving it up to him on the outside, but he did make a small mistake there, Crumpy. He, as a result, gets back into second spot now. Joe Screen, one of the most exciting riders in World Speedway, also a former British champion, as was the case with Mark Laram, whom I spoke to at the top of today's program. Screen is really making every post a winner here on a racetrack that should suit his style down to the ground. Up the main straight they run once again. Screen has really been the biggest improver of the entire foreign contingent in this series so far. He's given Crump and Adams and Todd Wiltshire plenty of cheek in the opening 4 rounds. And I'll tell you what, he's certainly looking very much as though he's going to take a maximum 3 points here in his opening ride of the night. The style of Joe Screen, getting his wheels in line very quickly. Only a couple of corners to negotiate for the Englishman who hails from Chesterfield. He'll take the 3 points and the checkered flags. The checkers unfold for him. Crump was second, didn't stop trying. Ronnie Corey was third, Ty Platt fourth, in a time of 58.82 seconds, 58.82 seconds. A scorching 4-lap journey to get Joe Screen's evenings racing underway here in front of a very good crowd in perfect weather conditions at the Schweppes Gosford City Speedway on the New South Wales Central Coast. Screen really should shine here tonight. One of the great entertainers in this sport on a global basis, a comfortable victor. You're watching highlights in round 5 of the $1 Million International Speedway Masters Series. Mark Laram rides in red. That's him on the right-hand side of your screen. Todd Wiltshire in blue. Yahya Gerson, the Dane, in white. As we get them underway, and the Novocastrian rider Stephen Davies was starting on the extreme outside. Oh, Jorgensen and Mark Laram got badly squeezed for racing room there. The leader is the man that finished third in this series last year, former world number 3 Todd Wiltshire, born in Bankstown, Spent much of his youth, though, living in Newcastle. Here's Laramsky. Laram on the outside, running second. His real name is Laramsky, of Maltese origin, but calls himself Laram. He runs second now. Beautiful outside pass on Yahya Gerson, relegated the reigning Scandinavian champion. Now, can Mark Laram reel in our race leader, Todd Wiltshire? Wiltshire keeping it nice and tidy on the low line. Well aware of the fact that Laram is coming very quickly. The only way that Laram can ride a speedway bike is absolutely flat out on the outside line. That's his forte. But Todd Wiltshire is going to get the money and the 3 points in heat number 4. Laram ran out of time on the line. It was Wiltshire, Laram in second, Jorgensen third, Davies a very disappointing fourth in a time of 59.63 in heat number 4. Another look at the way Mark Laram did it on the outside of Yahya Gerson, dragging the left knee in the dirt, the Englishman, up high on the circuit. Beautiful speedway. Courage with a capital C. Always keeps the throttle in the wide open position. Now it's heat number 5. That is Stephen Davies wearing the red helmet colour on the right hand side of your screen. 2 times and defending Masters Series champion Lee Adams, who is the current series leader in conjunction with Jason Crump. Riding in blue out of gate number 2. Joe Screen returns wearing white in gate number 3. And Lee Finance, the reserve for the meeting, wearing black, was the man starting out of gate number 4. Great crowd in here, all watching Joe Screen, trying to consolidate his position during the early stanza of this meeting, looking as though he's going to win his second consecutive heat here. Lee Adams looking down the barrel of another second placing. That's not the ideal way for the 4 times champion of Australia and reigning Masters Series champion to get his evening's racing underway. Struggling just a touch, Lee Adams, but Joe Screen is gating superbly. And let's be honest about it, this racetrack at 300 metres with no banking to speak of, pretty hard to pass. You've got to make a good start here. And Joe Screen inside the last racing lap now is going to finish up on 6 points at the completion of his 2 heat rides, or his opening 2 heat rides. Screen with 1 corner to run is in no danger of defeat here. He'll get across the line and defeat Lee Adams. Third was Stephen Davies, 4th Lee Finance. A time, fairly brisk one too, 59.11, 59.11 seconds. There is your victor, Joe Screen, English test rider. Heat number 6 sees the return of Todd Wiltshire. That's him in the red helmet colour on the right-hand side of your screen. Mick Poole, reigning New South Wales champion, former top international rider, based overseas in England. Craig Boyce in white and Ty Platt on the outside in yellow-black. When they said go, Todd Wiltshire absolutely flew out of the starting gate on the Team Gresham Extreme Skilled Engineering Champ Oil Filters Jower. Out of turn 4. They pour on the power for the run up the main straight. Craig Boyce is in second spot. Mick Poole runs third. The 2 teammates up front on the pair of Gresham Extreme Jowers. Boyce himself a 3 times Australian champion and former world number 3. Todd Wiltshire, as I said in his earlier heat ride tonight, also a former world number 3. He achieving that feat at Bradford in England in 1990. Boyce finishing on the podium at the world final conducted at Voyens in Denmark in 1994. They run by the main straight. A couple of left-hand corners to negotiate for Todd Wiltshire. Mick Poole making a race out of this as he challenges Craig Boyce. Not sure he'll have the time. He switches lines and runs by on the outside. Mick Poole might get there, does so, and gets 2 points on the line. It was Wiltshire 3 points in the victory. Mick Poole, fine ride in second spot. Craig Boyce third, Ty Platt fourth. Time was 60.31. which would indicate Wiltshire had something up his sleeve. That was a fairly slow race time. Now advancing to the next qualifying heat, the promotional girls out in force here tonight at the Gosford City Speedway, all part of the presentation of this series. Now heat number 7, that's Dave Watt from Brisbane on the right-hand side of your picture, wearing the red helmet colour. As a wild card tonight, he was invited to participate by virtue of some very good performances early in this series. Mark Laram in blue, Jason Crump in white, and Antonin Kasper from Prague in the Czech Republic wearing yellow-black. Well, there's no doubt about Jason Crump. Got an absolute flyer when the tapes flew. And the former Australian champion, dual winner of the British Grand Prix and joint series leader, approaching tonight's 5th round, heads him down the back straight very comfortably. The gap between first and second would already be 10 metres. Kasper runs second, Mark Laram third. Reasonable battle between those two. Laram is just struggling to really find his feet in this series. A rider of the highest caliber, the only Englishman to represent his country in every round of the World Grand Prix Series since it came to fruition in 1995. He's done just about all there is to do in Speedway. But on this occasion, he can't beat Jason Crump. That man currently on your screen, the man widely tipped, widely regarded as the man to beat in this series. He's so focused, so fired up. Crump, Casper, Laram and Watt. That's the finishing order. 59.55 the race time there. Yes, Crump has made no secret of the fact that he wants to win this series very badly. Has spent a fortune on his engines in preparation to do so on his O'Brien Aluminium Speedway Racing News Magazine GMs. Now Heat 8 sees the return of the Norwegian, Rooney Holder. That's him closest to your camera in the red helmet colour. Ronnie Corey in the centre wearing blue. Craig Watson in white out of gate number 3. And Jon Jorgensen, the Danish Scandinavian champion, starting on the extreme outside, who's out of your picture. Look at this for a scrap, will you? Ronnie Corey gives it a fistful of throttle, dicing with Craig Watson, the American, former World Team Cup and World Pairs champion, and 5 times world finalist. Almost put himself on the deck on the 4th corner of that ride. He's now back running 3rd. He settled himself down. Meantime, Craig Watson has made the most of his opportunities. He's up running 2nd. That's Jon Jorgensen, who's having a shocker here tonight so far. Bearing in mind he did finish on the podium after being one of the top qualifiers at the Rockhampton round we showed you about a month ago on Checkered Flag. In round 3, not getting it together here tonight at all. That man is, though, Rooney Holder from Falstead in Norway. Busy rider on the world scene, contesting league racing on a weekly basis in Poland, Denmark and Sweden. He took the 3 points. Watson was 2nd, Corey 3rd in a time of 59.70. Jon Jorgensen must be running the wrong gearing or something, but he does not look comfortable on this Gosford City Speedway venue. He does, though. Your victor, Rooney Holder, aboard the Containers Packaging GM. Another look at the first lap of this race. Watch Corey in the blue helmet colour. Gives it a fistful and almost tips himself off the bike. Has to take evasive action. Found himself rushing up to Rooney Holder's back wheel. And Craig Watson's had enough experience now to know exactly how to make the most of those kinds of opportunities. Good crowd in at this venue. The Gosford City Speedway. It's the 3rd time it's hosted a round of this elite motorcycle series, Australian Speedway's biggest international event, boasting riders from 6 nations in Speedway's only truly international formula. Now we get them underway again. That was Craig Watson on the inside, getting a pretty ordinary start. Joe Screen got an absolute blinder. Well, this to me looks to be the night of the Englishman. Joe Screen, not noted as being a good starter, is really putting the cleaners through them tonight. From Chesterfield in the UK, the former World Under-21 champion, aboard the Coney Shock Absorbers GM is your race leader. His compatriot, Mark Laram, on the Series 500 Jower run 2nd. Next on the circuit is Craig Boyce on the Team Gresham Extreme Jower. He probably is the most disappointing rider so far here tonight. Boyce has won a lot of big meetings here, including the Billy Sanders Memorial conducted at this racetrack in December of 1994 when he beat the then reigning World Speedway champion Tony Rickardson. Inside the last lap, it's Joe Screen. I should clarify, Tony Rickardson also the reigning world champion. He's a dual world title holder now. Out of turn 4, it's Screen and Laram. It's an England 1-2. And Craig Boyce getting across the lane in 3rd. Watson was 4th. Time 60.52. No doubt about it, Joe Screen the man to beat here tonight. 3 starts for 3 wins. He is on fire on the Coney Shock Absorbers GM. Really starting to come into his own. He rode in this tournament last year and rode brilliantly that summer too. The foreign riders really need to contest this grueling 10-round series once before they truly understand just how tough it is. He's come back this year for his 2nd tilt at the title and looking infinitely better than at the corresponding time last year. Now heat number 10. Heat number 11 rather. Corey on the inside, the American. Finance in black in the centre. Antonin Casper from the Czech Republic. Got an outstanding start, and here comes Todd Wiltshire. He started on the extreme outside in yellow-black. That's a beautiful move. Ronnie Corey, though, is serving it up to him, the American rider. And they're side by side out of turn 4 the first time. They race down the main straight here at Gosford, and it is the Californian Ronnie Corey on the proven suspension, GM. Beautiful pass. He took it right up to Todd Wiltshire, who probably thought he was home for all money after starting out wide on the racetrack. He did take the race lead momentarily. I don't think he counted on the tenacity of this man. Now on your picture, Ronnie Corey rode as the top point scorer, the #1 man for the famous Bellevue Aces in the Elite League conducted in England last year, and has carried that good form into this tournament. Has struggled a touch on the bigger Australian tracks. Was brought up on the tiny Costa Mesa Fairground at Orange County, California, and this racetrack really more to his liking. Corey across the line. Wiltshire was second, Casper third, Finance fourth, 59.63 the racing time. Another 3 points to Ronnie Corey, who's got his act together tonight. We've got a break coming up now on Checkered Flag. Make sure you stay with us. A lot more racing coming your way shortly. Just before we go to the break, though, let's take a look at how Ronnie Corey did it. Look at Wiltshire switching from the outside to the in. But Corey hanging on gamely. Had his rear wheel in the dirt, the thicker, spongier dirt. That's where the drive is. And he certainly made the most of his opportunities, getting his front and rear wheel in line very quickly, defeating Todd Wiltshire. Stay with us, won't you? A lot more on the other side of this break. Welcome you back to the Gosford City Speedway on the New South Wales Central Coast. Balmy, beautiful weather conditions. The highlights of round 5 in the $1 million Series 500 International Speedway Masters. Now advancing to the next heat, it is heat number 12, a 4-lap journey. Stephen Davies from Newcastle starts on the inside. Rooney Holter, the Norwegian flyer, got a great start wearing the blue helmet colour out of gate number 2. That's Jason Crump in yellow-black, surging by on the outside, the Queenslander and former national champion. He takes the race lead, as we also see Mick Poole searching up high and on the circuit for drive, and in his attempt to try and get by on the outside of Stephen Davies. He does that now. They've done a lot of racing together, those two, and they certainly know one another's styles. Poole knew he could trust Davies when he raced by on the outside. Great scrap up front. Oh, Davies has dropped the bike on the back section. Coming out of turn number 4, the Newcastle rider Stephen Davies. As you can see, he's up and quite okay. We'll take another look at that for you. I don't think he snapped the chain. Another look at it, right-hand side of screen. He just got all crossed up. Got very out of shape and probably elected to bail out before he hit the fence proper. That's his experience. Multiple winner of the New South Wales Championship. Himself a former international star. Captain Peterborough to victory in the early 90s in the Premier League and the 4-team tournament. So we get going again with a full race restart here in heat number 12, where your early leader this time is Rooney Holter, the Norwegian. Look at Jason Crump on the outside. These two international stars, the Norwegian and the Australian, running very close together on the circuit. That's Mick Poole back in third, having a bird's eye view of this battle. Race leader is Rooney Holter. He's managed to get rid of the challenge of Jason Crump momentarily. They'd be separated by about 4 metres on the circuit. The container's packaging GM of Rooney Holter. Here's your race leader as they head back through turns 1 and 2 for yet another occasion. Jason Crump runs second. He'll never stop trying, the Queenslander in second. You can be rest assured of that. They'll see the yellow flag on display, signifying 1 lap to run at the Gosford venue this time round. And it is Rooney Holter. What can Jason Crump do about it as the dirts fly and they head down the back straight for the final time? Your leader is Rooney Holter. Here comes Crump now, setting up for an outside slingshot as they see the checkered flag inside. Crump on the outside, but Rooney Holter just got there by an inch on the line. We'll take another look at that. Very exciting finish. I did mention that Crump would never give up, and he certainly showed that there. The crowd have really gone off, enjoyed that one here. Holter did get the judge's decision, though, albeit by a very slender margin. Jason Crump thinks he's won it, as you can see by his elation, and it was a great ride too. Holter likewise thinks he's won it. They've both got the left arm in the air. Another look at it now in super slow-mo. It's Holter in front. Look at Crump now, winding it up, putting in the big ones on the outside. The O'Brien Aluminium Speedway Racing News GM. This is a different angle. Crump on the outside. Oh, there's no doubt for mine. Holter got there by a very slender margin on the inside. 3 points to the Norwegian. Jason Crump securing the 2 points there. Now it's heat 13. Commencement of the 4th round of qualifying heats, and Jason Crump returns. He rides in red on the inside line rather. Great field here. Craig Watson in blue out of gate number 2. Todd Wiltshire in white out of 3. Lee Adams, yellow, black out of gate number 4. Your leader here is Jason Crump. When they said go, he got an outstanding start. Lee Adams, he muscles up his way on the outside of Craig Watson to secure third on the circuit. Now he switches line Adams on the Series 500 Jower. He's dicing with Todd Wiltshire. Whilst all of that's going on, Jason Crump has been able to get a nice break. Wiltshire comes back up on the inside of Lee Adams. Great battle here for the minor placings. The Team Gresham Extreme Raider. Todd Wiltshire has secured second on the circuit once more. Jason Crump's your leader on your left-hand side of the screen. There's no doubt the big battle in this race, though, is the scrap for second and third, where Todd Wiltshire currently has the best of it. They've got about 1 1/4 laps remaining in this all-important heat. There's Crump, your leader, blasting past the start-finish line. Wiltshire, has he got second secure? I don't think so. Lee Adams has raced by and taken that from him. And now Wiltshire works his way back up on the inside. Here's Adams on the inside again. Wiltshire a fistful of throttle. He got second. What a ride. What a race. Crump was the winner. The big winner was the crowd here, because they've really enjoyed that race. What a screamer. Adams and Wiltshire turning it on for young and old. Crump was well and truly gone. He took the 3 points. Look at Wiltshire on the inside. Races up. Adams kept it on, though, the horsepower. Wiltshire tried to keep it nice and tight to stop Adams from doing that. Somehow Wiltshire's managed to still secure second on the line. In a thrilling finish. The time, by the way, was 60:49. Now it's heat 14. Craig Boyce on the inside in red. Stephen Davies in blue out of gate number 2. Ronnie Corey in white out of gate number 3. And Dave Watt from Brisbane wears yellow on the outside. Away they go. Racetrack starting to dial in perfectly now. The action is thick and fast. And Ronnie Corey, the American superstar, looking for another victory here tonight. He bounces out and takes the race lead. Stephen Davies runs second. Great speed shot that. The camera on the inside of the main straight. Craig Boyce running third. He's had a horror meeting tonight, the Sydney Sider, and 3 times Australian champion. He did win this tournament in 1996, defeating Sam Ermolenko and Tony Ricardson. But he's not going to win it in 1999 the way he's going. Ronnie Corey, though, look at the gap that shot graphically demonstrates. Stephen Davies has broken down. Craig Boyce is going to get a second out of this. Big victor, though, the American from California, Ronnie Corey, as he sees the last lap, the yellow flag on display. There's no doubt in the world he's going to get home, barring any unforeseen circumstances or mechanical failure. Corey keeps it nice and tidy. He really is a neat rider. The Californian gets the 3 points. Second was Craig Boyce. Whatever the problem with Stephen Davies' bike was, he was able to keep going and pick up a valuable 1 qualifying point via taking third position. The time there was 60.82 seconds for Ronnie Corey's victory in heat number 14. He's a diminutive little chap, can barely get his left leg on the ground when he's riding his bike around in circles. Loves life, had a very serious back injury, broke his back in 1992, was out of the sport for a little more than a year, and has come back. I've already mentioned earlier in today's program that he had a fabulous season in 1998 and was invited to take part in this event by virtue of his consistency last year in Europe. Heat 15, Jon Jorgensen, the Scandinavian champion from Denmark, rides in red on the inside. He'll be looking for big improvement here. Very disappointing tonight so far. From Prague in the Czech Republic, the reigning Continental Speedway champion, Antonin Kasper, rides in blue out of gate number 2. Local Gosford star Mick Poole rides in white out of gate 3. And Joe Screen, undefeated thus far tonight, yellow and black on the outside. Well, I might have put the mocker on him because he got a terrible start, Joe Screen. Antonin Kasper didn't, though. He's absolutely scorching across the circuit here. The Czech Republic champion and reigning Continental title holder. He's your race leader, Mick Poole. Good riding by him. He's moved up into second on the circuit. Might just challenge Antonin Kasper as this 4-lap journey wears on. Look at the gap now. First and second, it's a fairly sizable one. Antonin Kasper, once again, relying on his superb gating skills. Very quick out of the starting tapes. Neat across the ground. One of the finest riders in World Speedway, this bloke. There's been some outstanding Czech riders do battle in this International Speedway Masters Series over the past 3 years. Former series round victor Thomas Topinka, of course, rode in 1997 and 98 and did a wonderful job. Well, Kasper is absolutely cruising out in front. He's got plenty of time for several looks over the left shoulder. He's going to get home very comfortably in this one, defeating Mick Poole. He got second. Now, unfortunately for Joe Screen, after an outstanding start of the night, he's going to have to cop third position there and just one qualifying point. Jon Jorgensen from Denmark was fourth, and his horror meeting continues. The highly decorated and highly regarded Danish reigning Scandinavian champion. Now it's heat number 16. Lee Finance rides in black on the right-hand side of your screen. Ty Platt rides in blue out of gate number 2. Rooney Holter rides in white from 3. And on the extreme outside is Mark Laram from England, wearing yellow-black. Graham Stewart, most confident start official in Australian Speedway, has them all set to race. The tapes fly. Who will it be this time round? You'll find it was the Norwegian Rooney Holter, who's already picked up a couple of wins here tonight, has bounced out and is going to show Mark Laram the way home here. Laram from England's going to have to get a move on. No lack of trying. He always gives it 150%, but he's going to need to get somewhere on Rooney Holter's back wheel now if he hopes to challenge seriously for 3 points in this race. There's your leaders. It's Holter, followed by Mark Laram in second. Forget about the others with the deepest of respect. The man back in third is Ty Platt. Finance is a mile back in the pack. The reserve rider, Holter, is really clearing out in this one. Across the line, the Containers Packaging GM with 1 lap remaining. These bikes only weigh 85 kilograms. They produce about that much horsepower, about 80 horsepower, which makes them very impressive in power to weight ratio terms. Holter got the 3 points. Laram was second, Platt third, Finance fourth in a time of 59.70, which was one of the quickest race times of the night. No wonder Laram was struggling to stay on equal terms with that rider, Rooney Holter. He was absolutely on a mission, the Norwegian. Took it comfortably. Heat number 17 is next on the program. You're watching highlights in round 5 of the Series 500 International Speedway Masters. The 5th anniversary season. Mick Poole worth watching here. White and black helmet colour on the left-hand side of your screen. Mark Laram returns to battle wearing white. The very in-form Californian Ronnie Corey wears blue out of gate number 2. And Lee Adams from Mildura in Victoria, 4 times Australian champion, 2 times winner of this series, rides in red on the inside aboard the Series 500 Jawa. The most professional of Australian Speedway riders. Only rivaled really by Todd Wiltshire in terms of his on and off track professionalism. He got a great start, Lee Adams. Ronnie Corey battling away with Mark Laram. Look at Mick Poole winding it up on the outside, the reigning New South Wales champion. He might overtake them all here. He's done it. Beautiful pass by Mick Poole, the man we call Mr. Excitement, and that's why he got away ordinarily from the starting tapes, was back running last, has given it a big handful, and has raced by on the outside of 3 of them to take the race lead. What can Lee Adams do about it? Can he come back at Mick Poole? He's got enough time. Ronnie Corey's up running third. Mark Laram is fourth. Here's the battle now developing in earnest up front. Adams got back to the front momentarily, but Poole, very determined, very fired up. The reigning New South Wales title holder, a wild card in this meeting tonight, is going to fair dinkum and bring the joint down if he can win this heat. Inside the last racing lap now. It's been a heck of a ride from Mick Poole. They're separated by just a couple of metres. Lee Adams will come back at him. That's the ride of the night by far. Mick Poole takes the 3 points in an absolute thriller. Second was Lee Adams. The crowd have enjoyed that one. They're going off here at Gosford. Magnificent ride, Mick Poole. One of the best of his career, no doubt about that. Second, Lee Adams. Crowd really welcoming their favourite son back to Victory Circle. What a ride in a time of 60.51. It was Poole, Adams, Ronnie Corey third, Mark Laram fourth. Have a look at it. On the replay, there he is last on the right-hand side of your screen in the white-black helmet colour. Let me tell you, he's passed 2 world-class riders here in Corey and Laram like they were not even there. And now he sets his sights on a superstar in Lee Adams. Races by on the outside. That is absolutely perfect speedway by Mick Poole. I remind you, the fastest way around any speedway track is always the outside, providing it's got plenty of dirt up high for maximum traction. That applies to Gosford here tonight. And Mick Poole has made the most of that, and the crowd are really giving him the applause that he so richly deserves. That was a great ride and one of the best I've ever seen from Mick Poole. And I've been watching him ride Speedway for well over a decade. Great stuff. Now it's heat number 18, and a wonderful field here. Jason Crump, John Jorgensen, Craig Boyce. The three riders most likely to figure here. Lee Finance will ride in black on the inside, wearing red. There's Jason Crump doing a spot of gardening, looking where he's going to position his back wheel. Indeed, determining where the drive is, the maximum traction. They're all running soft compound Dunlop tyres on the rear of their bikes. Probably not right to say all of them, but certainly Crump is. A number of the riders, including Anton and Casper, running Barham tyres from the Czech Republic. We're set for a start. Away we go now. In heat number 18, Jason Crump will be looking for nothing less than a win here to guarantee himself a spot in the A final. Well, at last he's going to stand up tonight. The Danish Scandinavian champion, Jon Jorgensen, who I think I'm right in saying has finished last in every one of his heat rides tonight, now finds himself doing what he does best. He's a world-class rider, has qualified to compete in this year's World Grand Prix Series, at last showing the Gosford crowd what he can do. It's Jorgensen on the Champ Oil Filters GM, the race leader. Jason Crump won't be happy about that. He needs the victory here to be guaranteed a starting berth in the A final. Here he comes now, the Queenslander. Jason Crump winding it up on the outside. He and Jorgensen running side by side out of turn number 4. But the Queenslander's got the ascendancy now. Jorgensen didn't feel it was appropriate to take the fight up to him there. And Jason Crump inside the last racing lap is going to take victory here. It's been a stirring ride by arguably Australia's leading rider on the World Speedway stage. He takes it, Crump, and in so doing takes the 3 points. Jorgensen second, but that was better from him. One to Craig Boyce, who's having an absolute shocker here tonight. And Lee Finance a long way back in fourth. 61.36 the race time. There's Crump accepting the accolades of the crowd, as well he might. That was a beautiful ride. Look at the manner in which he celebrates after a fine ride. He's very pumped up. There was no other rider in this field that wants to win this tournament more than this man. A fine ride, showing them how it's done, and here's another look at it for you. Jorgensen looked to have a fairly comfortable lead. Crump really came from nowhere. And this is the biggest thing about Jason Crump. He's prepared to put his bike where very few others will go. He'll ride with his right knee an inch off the wall if that's what it takes. He'll do whatever it takes to win. You just saw that there. And he's not the first man to do it tonight, mind you. Mick Poole showing great courage in the heat prior to execute a similar passing manoeuvre. Heat number 19, this is the penultimate qualifying heat before we advance to the all-important skilled engineering final series. Anton and Casper on the inside wearing red, the brilliant Czech, who's had a good night tonight. Craig Watson from Sydney wears the blue helmet beside him. Stephen Davies out of gate number 3 and Ty Platt on the extreme outside. They'll find here that Anton and Casper will be far too sharp for them. Watson really, you'll probably find from a credentials point of view, is going to be the only challenger here. Stephen Davies ordinarily you'd put in that category, but he's not had a good night tonight, enduring all sorts of engine problems. That's him on the right-hand side of your screen running third, and just as I speak, his motorcycle breaks down again. Wretched luck for the Novocastrian. Casper, though, well, it's nothing more than a Saturday night stroll in the park for him. This particular heat, far too good for his rivals. Sitting up nice and calmly on the bike, floating his left wheel, or rather his left leg adjacent to the front wheel. You very seldom see the really good riders actually put their left shoe on the ground. And he's inside the last racing lap now. Casper is going to take his third victory of the night, and this will certainly guarantee him a berth in the grand final of tonight's 5th round. Across the line he takes it. Watson second, Ty Platt third in a time of 61.67 seconds. Just the one more qualifying heat now to complete the major part of tonight's program in round 5 of the International Speedway Masters Series. Another look at Anton and Casper. I've already mentioned twice during our telecast that he's one of the best gators in World Speedway. You've seen again there how he does it. Beautiful anticipation. 37 years of age, he is a veteran in World Speedway. Was an outstanding rider, qualifying for World Finals a little more than a decade ago, and then almost went missing in action for probably 3 or 4 years. Confined his racing to Poland predominantly, and in 1998 burst back onto the international scene in quite incredible fashion. Now it's heat 20, Rooney Holder, Todd Wiltshire, Joe Screen, all three looking for an A final berth. In fact, the first two are guaranteed to start in the A final tonight. Jason Crump has already qualified, and so has Anton Casper. So the top two here will get through. Whoever runs third will probably find himself missing out on a grand final berth by just 1 point. That's how tight this meeting has been. Screen on the inside, Wiltshire beside him, Dave Watt, Rooney Holder on the outside. Away they go in the final qualifying heat. Well, after gating superbly in his opening three rides here tonight, Joe Screen is struggling now. Look at Rooney Holder. Beautiful pass by the Norwegian. He came from third to first in one movement. He's got a nail loose in his steel shoe too. You can see some sparks flying up when his left foot does come in contact with the ground. Great pass, Rooney Holder, on the Containers Packaging GM. He's going to find himself in the A final tonight. Now the big question here is, can Joe Screen do anything about his nearest rival, which is Todd Wiltshire in second? That's that battle you're looking at. Second and third. Holder's going to get home in this, and he's going to qualify for the A final. Here comes Joe Screen now. He wants second spot. That's what he needs to do to qualify for the grand final. Todd Wiltshire makes no secret of the fact he doesn't like this track. He'll be delighted if he can qualify for the A final, and it's looking as though he's going to. There's Rooney Holder. Big ride from him. Put it down to that very brave move on the first lap of this event. Off the handlebar comes the left hand in jubilation. The Norwegian takes it. In second spot, it was Wiltshire. So they are the two to qualify for the grand final tonight. It's exit Joe Screen. He qualifies for the B final. Time there, 60.66 seconds. Dave Watt was last, by the way. Great ride, Rooney Holder. Continues to improve and impress. Currently, he's being sought after by 10 British Elite League clubs, this man. Can he ride? Not seen in England, that in fact never seen in England. Always rides in Sweden, Denmark and Poland. Another look at it. Wiltshire did a fine job in gating. He kept it down low and then drifted up track when he picked up some drive there. Look at Holter. He's come from third to race up on the inside. I don't think Wiltshire expected that. There wasn't a lot he could do about it. Had Wiltshire have not picked up drive and lifted his front wheel on the entry to the back straight, it may have been an entirely different matter. Great racing. The final series is next. Stay with us. On C7 Sport, you're watching Checkered Flag and round 5 in the $1 Million International Speedway Masters Series. We now approach the Skilled Engineering Final Series part of the program, which is where the maximum points, maximum prize money is up for grabs. And the first race we present for you is the C final, to be conducted over 4 laps. Now this will be contested by those riders that qualified 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th in the standings. Jon Jorgensen from Denmark, Craig Watson from Sydney, Mark Laram from England and Craig Boyce from Sydney. That's Laram on the right hand side of your screen, wearing the red helmet colour. Craig Watson will start out of gate 2 in blue. The Danish Scandinavian champion Jon Jorgensen rides in white out of gate 3, and he doesn't want to go forward to the starting tapes. Graham Stewart, the starting line official, getting a little irate there. And Craig Boyce, who's had a terrible meeting tonight by his impeccably high standards, rides in yellow-black on the outside. Who will it be? Another full lap journey. Mark Laram appeared to get a pretty bright start on the inside, but crossing from the outside, the best to begin here was the Scandinavian title holder from Denmark. I refer, of course, to Jon Jorgensen. There's a nice outside passing move by Sydney's Craig Watson to take second momentarily off Mark Laram. And right at the back of the pack is Sydney's Craig Boyce. Poor old Boyce's night has not been a good one here at the Gosford City Speedway venue. It's Jon Jorgensen, the Dane. He's going to prove very hard to catch in this C final, where some pretty big points are up for grabs in this 11-round championship chase to determine the 1999 Masters Series. It's all Jon Jorgensen. Look at the gap. I don't think Craig Watson is going to be able to get on equal terms with him. Meantime, he's got a problem. Watson wearing the blue helmet colour, because Mark Laram is starting to climb all over the back of him. They now pass the start-finish line and see the yellow flag on display. 1 lap of the 300-metre Gosford City Speedway to run. It's all Jon Jorgensen. He's put a huge gap in them here and going to win the C final in round 5 very comfortably. Watson under siege from Laram, but the Sydney sider did manage to maintain second spot on the line. Third, the Englishman Mark Laram. Jon Jorgensen, Craig Watson, Mark Laram third. Craig Boyce was fourth in a time of 61.37. That's the way it was. in the Skilled Engineering C final here in round 5 of the tournament. Now it's the B final, and that man on screen, Joe Screen, has got to consider himself very unlucky to be in the B final. Started the night with 3 emphatic victories. Then he lost his gating ability and finished well back in his 4th ride, and then finished 3rd in his 2nd ride, which was heat 20 you saw just before the break. So the wheels fell off his campaign here as we approach the business end of proceedings. He can still salvage some pride and pick up some pretty good points should he win this B final. Lee Adams from Mildura in Victoria rides in red on the inside. Joe Screen, to whom I've been alluding, rides in blue from 2. Mick Poole, great performance by him tonight, rides in white out of gate 3. And Ronnie Corey, the Californian, on the extreme outside. The Victorian 2 times Masters Series champion Lee Adams, as he so often does when the pressure is on, he finds something. Great gating, terrific starting. Lee Adams is your leader. Joe Screen, he's under siege from Ronnie Corey as they race down the main straight at the end of the first lap. Mick Poole is tailed off. That's something of a tragedy. Mick Poole has been absolutely brilliant here tonight in round 5 of this tournament. He might have to accept finishing 8th overall in the meeting as a result of finishing 4th in the B final. No doubting the man out in front, it's Lightning Lee Adams. He's absolutely riding away from them. The gap between 1st and 2nd is probably 20 metres. Joe Screen's going to pick up a 2nd placing here. Ronnie Corey's probably got other ideas though. He has a look on the outside, the American. The Englishman and the American turning on a great show. Mick Poole, by the way, has moved up to challenge Ronnie Corey. No one is challenging that man on screen. It's Lightning Lee Adams on the Series 500. Jower, he takes it. Great scrap for the miners. Great battle there. It was Joe Screen 2nd, Ronnie Corey 3rd, and Mick Poole 4th in a time of 60.27. 1 minute 27. 1 minute point 27. Another look at that brilliant finish involving Ronnie Corey and Joe Screen. There's Adams, your leader. He got the money by a good 20 metres. Look at Corey on the outside here, across the line. Joe Screen by the most slender of margins. The Englishman from Chesterfield, always the crowd pleaser. That takes enormous skill. He did it at the Townsville venue, where round 4 of this tournament was staged for 5 laps. Must be a world record. Well, folks, nice to have your company wherever you might be watching. We now advance to the big race on the program. It's the grand final of this 5th round to be contested by the top 4 qualifiers. And the top qualifier tonight, Norway's Rooney Halter. That's him on the left-hand side of your screen. Jason Crump involved here. Antonin Kasper from the Czech Republic. And Todd Wiltshire. So there's 2 foreigners and 2 Aussies to do battle in the grand final of round 5. As is customary in this tournament, the rioters and their bikes actually walking around as a part of the parade to the start-finish line. Now the format here involves each rider having the opportunity to choose his starting gate based on where he qualified in the meeting. So the top man will choose first, and then so on and so on. Great atmosphere here at Gosford, perfect summer's evening, and this is the race that will determine the winner of tonight's 5th round. It's the race that determines who takes away 20 series points. And it's the race that determines who takes away the maximum prize money tonight. Crowd is wound up for a big one. Another 4 lapper. There is Todd Wiltshire. What a magnificent comeback to racing. The rider in the predominantly all-white leathers. Out of the sport for 5 years following severe back and groin injuries. Came back in 1997 and has repositioned himself at the top of World Speedway. Extraordinary story. That is Jason Crump. I've already mentioned a couple of times tonight, is the man to beat in this series. Antonin Kasper, the first man to get himself on his bike, the Villawood Truck Sales Jower. They're strapped up, they've got the goggles and the gloves on, and we are set to go as their mechanics push these bikes away. They fire into life, the 500cc Speedway bikes with no brakes. Rooney Halter trying to unfog his goggles at the moment. He rides in red. He has chosen to start out of gate number 1 on the inside. Antonin Kasper wearing white will start out of gate number 3. Todd Wiltshire in yellow-black as the 4th top man. Got stuck with gate number 4 on the outside. And Jason Crump will start out of gate number 2 wearing the blue helmet colour. It's Norway's Rooney Holder inside. Queensland's Jason Crump out of gate number 2. The Czech Republic's Antonin Kasper out of gate 3 wearing white. And Newcastle's Todd Wiltshire in the yellow-black on the extreme outside. Here we go in the grand final of round number 5. Who will it be? I think you'll find Crump got an absolute flyer. He did. The Queenslander Jason Crump has headed down the back straight, a clear-cut leader. Here's Norway's Rooney Holder now fighting on the inside. Todd Wiltshire skating up very high on the circuit. He's looking for racing room. I'm not sure he'll find it there. Great battle between Holder and Wiltshire. Jason Crump has taken the race lead, relegates Rooney Holder back to second. Todd Wiltshire on the right-hand side of your screen runs third. And Antonin Kasper from the Czech Republic, who is outstanding tonight in his heat rides, unable to really challenge too much here in the grand final of round 5. It's Jason Crump down the back straight. I was talking about Lee Adams earlier on today's program and the fact that he always finds something when the pressure is on. The same applies even more so to Jason Crump out in front. When he's got to make the start, he does do. When he's got to pass him from the back, he can do. When he races by on the outside with white paint on his knee from rubbing the wall, he'll do that too. And he's going to win round 5 of the $1 Million Masters Series. Jason Crump the victor. Second to the checkered flag there. Great performance tonight to Norway's Rooney Holder. Third was Todd Wiltshire and Antonin Kasper fourth. 60.70 seconds the race time. Best first and second. Great sportsmanship. Congratulations to Jason Crump. Adding another trophy to his already bulging cabinet. Great performance. Another look at it. Crump just made it start the way it had to be done. When the tapes flew, he anticipated it beautifully. Gee, the battle was on in earnest behind them. Antonin Kasper just got chopped out of the first corner. Not his fault. It was just the way the cards fell on the start. He got squeezed for room at the back and couldn't sustain the charge. Holder made a bold showing, but it was all Queensland's Jason Crump, the winner of round 5 of this series. Well, that certainly was a magnificent advertisement for International Speedway tonight. Round 5 at the Schweppes Gosford City Speedway, won by Jason Crump, who won the corresponding round last year. You love this place?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, the first time I ever came here, I broke my collarbone in a handicap, and
I remember that.
Ever since then, I've won the Australian Championship here, and I've won a couple of rounds of the Masters here. So yeah, I don't mind the place.
You're winning the point score in the championship. Still 6 rounds to go though, so you can't be too overconfident, I guess.
Oh, I'd never be overconfident with a guy like Lee Adams behind me. I mean, he's very professional and very set up, and but I'm in front, and it's up to him to wear me down now, so hopefully I can hang on to it.
Well done, Crumpy. The winner tonight at the Gosford City Speedway. Rooney Holder, the Norwegian second. You saw the way he rode tonight, quite impeccable, and I guess in many respects a little unlucky not to have won the meeting, but that was very hard, and you look like you're doing it tough. You're quite hot.
Yeah, it was very hard, it was. And it's going better and better, and hopefully I can win next round or one of the next 5.
You've been very consistent in the series so far. That would make you happy?
Yeah, of course. It was the same last year, and in the end of the series I made the 4th place, and yeah.
We've enjoyed watching you, Rooney.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and Todd Wiltshire third this evening. A regular face on checkered flag, such is the consistency of the man. Tough night at the office, Todd.
Very tough. Very happy though, to make the A final and then to get on the rostrum. It's very pleasing for myself. Most of my family's here, and a lot of Newcastle supporters here for me, so it was nice to have a good result for them.
You were saying before the meeting that this was not a track you were overly confident at heading into the event. Why is that?
Just the shape and the design of the track. I think my home track in England, I ride regularly, is smaller than this, but just a funny shape. It's on a slight hill, and I seem to have problems in the middle of the corner, and seems to slow me up a little bit. But it's here to race, and at the end of the night, I'm quite happy with the result.